Have you ever woken at 3 in the morning with your heart pounding, feeling pulled from sleep by something you cannot name? Have you felt the silence of that hour press against you like a living presence, heavy and strange, as though the whole world were holding its breath? You are not losing your mind. You are not being punished. Something far greater is happening, and it begins in the darkest hours when heaven bends low to listen. You are alone in your bed. The clock glows in the darkness. 3:17, 3:23. Always near that hour, the house is silent except for the hum of the refrigerator downstairs. A sound so faint you only notice it in this deep quiet. Your phone sits face down on the nightstand. You have not touched it. You did not set an alarm. Yet here you are, awake again, pulled from dreams by an invisible thread. Your chest feels tight. Not with panic exactly, but with attention, with awareness, as though someone has called your name in a voice, too subtle for your ears, but loud enough for your soul. This is not random. You have been waking at this hour for weeks now, maybe longer. You thought it was stress. You thought it was your mind refusing rest. You tried chamomile tea and meditation apps and earlier bedtimes, but nothing changed. The 3 o'clock awakening continued. And now, if you are honest, you have begun to sense it. The feeling that this is not disruption, but invitation. That something sacred is reaching for you in the hour when the world is quietest and your defenses are down. The veil between heaven and earth grows thin at 3 in the morning. The angels walk closer. The prayers of the faithful rise like incense. And God, in his infinite tenderness, meets those who are willing to be interrupted. Since Seraphina knew this truth intimately, she spent years in a stone cell with one small window, and every night she woke at the 3rd hour. She did not fight it. She did not try to return to sleep. Instead, she rose and knelt on the cold floor and waited. Her journals tell us of those hours. She wrote, "At 3, the world forgets itself, and God remembers us by name." She understood what you are beginning to discover now, that this hour is not an accident. It is an appointment. While you lie awake in the darkness, something is shifting in the unseen realms. The angels assigned to your protection draw near. They have been watching you struggle, watching you carry burdens you were never meant to carry alone. They have seen your silent tears, your whispered doubts, your moments of desperation when you thought no one was listening. And now, in this hour when your conscious mind is quieted and your heart is open, they are able to reach you. Grace moves like water finding cracks in stone. It does not force. It does not shout. It seeps into the places you have left unguarded, the vulnerable spaces you only access in the middle of the night when you are too tired to pretend you have everything under control. Your soul, stripped of the day's distractions, becomes suddenly attentive. It hears what it could not hear before. It feels what the noise of the world had drowned out, and heaven, patient and persistent, speaks. You might have thought this waking was a sign of weakness, evidence that something is wrong with you, proof that you are broken in some fundamental way. But listen carefully. What if your sensitivity is not a flaw, but a gift? What if the very thing that makes you feel fragile is actually the doorway through which God is trying to enter your life? The prophets woke in the night. The mystics rose before dawn. The saints learned to treasure the hours when sleep fled and silence remained. They were not stronger than you. They were simply willing to stop resisting the call. You have been chosen for this kind of prayer, not because you are perfect, but because you are open. Not because you have all the answers, but because you are willing to sit in the questions. The 3 o'clock hour is a testing ground for those who will become intercessors, for those who will stand in the gap between heaven and earth and hold space for miracles. Are you beginning to see why this keeps happening? Why you cannot simply roll over and return to sleep? There is a difference between ordinary restlessness and the stirring of the Spirit. You must learn to discern between them. Ordinary insomnia feels chaotic. It spins your thoughts in circles. It replays your failures and magnifies your fears. It leaves you exhausted and empty. But the divine touch, even when it wakes you abruptly, carries a different quality. Beneath the initial confusion, there is peace, a strange, quiet peace that makes no logical sense given the hour and the interruption. Beneath the discomfort of waking, there is clarity, a sudden knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. And always, always, there is compassion, a softness toward yourself and others that was not there before. When God wakes you at 3 a.m, He does not leave you alone in the dark. He comes with light, even if that light is too subtle for your eyes. He comes with presence, even if you cannot yet name what you are feeling. When you wake at 3, do not reach for your phone. Do not turn on the television or scroll through messages or distract yourself back into numbness. Instead, sit up slowly. Place your feet on the floor. Feel the coolness of the ground beneath you. And in the silence, pray this simple phrase, "Here I am, Lord." Speak to my listening heart. Do not say it with desperation. Do not beg for signs or demand immediate answers. Simply offer yourself. Make yourself available. This is not a formula. This is not a guarantee that all your problems will vanish by morning. But it is an act of trust. It is a way of saying yes to the invitation, even when you do not fully understand it. And heaven responds to yes. Heaven always responds to yes. You are not praying alone, even when it feels that way. In this very moment, as you lie awake or sit in the stillness of 3 a.m, there are others doing the same. Across the world, in different time zones and languages, souls are waking and turning toward God. You are part of an invisible communion, a fellowship of the interrupted. The saints who have gone before you remember what it was like to wake in the night. They remember the fear and the confusion. And now, from their place in the light, they are interceding for you. They are asking God to give you the courage to stay awake, to stay present, to let this strange hour transform you. Your guardian angel stands beside your bed, not with a sword, but with a gentle hand extended, waiting for you to take it, waiting for you to stop fighting and start receiving. Every time you wake at 3 and choose prayer over panic, something shifts. Not always in your external circumstances, not always in ways you can measure or explain to others, but deep within, in the hidden chambers of your heart, where only God has access, transformation begins. Old wounds start to heal. Old fears lose their power. The shame you have carried for years begins to lift, replaced by something lighter and truer. You start to understand that you are loved not for what you do, but for who you are. That your worthiness was never in question. That all the striving and proving and performing were unnecessary from the beginning. God does not wake you at 3 in the morning to scold you. He wakes you to remind you, to whisper the truths you have forgotten in the daylight, to restore what the world has tried to steal from you. The sign you are receiving is not punishment. It is not a curse or a burden. It is a mark of divine favor. You have been noticed by heaven. Among all the billions of souls on this planet, you have been chosen for this intimate, uncomfortably beautiful work of midnight prayer. And yes, it is work. It is not easy to wake when your body craves rest. It is not simple to sit in silence when your mind wants distraction. But the rewards are beyond anything you can imagine right now. The 3 o'clock hour will become your sanctuary, the place where you meet God face to face, without pretense or performance. The place where you finally stop running and let yourself be found. Are you beginning to feel it? That subtle shift in your chest, the loosening of the knot of fear you have been carrying. This is the beginning of understanding. This is the moment when confusion starts to crystallize into purpose. You are not a victim of sleeplessness. You are a participant in something holy. Every time you wake, you are being invited deeper, deeper into trust, deeper into surrender, deeper into the kind of relationship with God that most people never experience because they are too busy, too distracted, too defended to let Him in at such a vulnerable hour. The darkness of 3 in the morning is not empty. It is full. Full of potential, full of presence, full of the quiet work of redemption that happens when no one is watching. You do not need to understand everything right now. You do not need to have all the answers or know how this will end. You simply need to keep saying yes. Keep waking. Keep praying. Keep offering yourself in the silence, and trust that the one who called you out of sleep knows exactly what He is doing. Do you remember the last time you felt truly seen? Not for your accomplishments or your appearance or what you could offer, but for the raw, unfiltered truth of who you are. That is what happens at 3 in the morning. The masks fall away. The roles and responsibilities and identities you carry during the day fade into it. And what remains is your soul, naked and trembling before God. This is terrifying and beautiful in equal measure. Terrifying because you cannot hide. Beautiful because you no longer have to. In this hour, you are known completely and loved completely, and that love changes everything. Saint Seraphina understood this. She wrote of nights when she felt the presence of God so intensely that she wept, not from sadness, but from overwhelming gratitude. She had spent her daylight hours in service, teaching and healing and counseling others. But it was in the night, in the solitude of 3 o'clock, that she received what she needed to continue. She called it the hour of filling, when all the giving of the day was replenished by the generosity of heaven. You are being filled too, even if you cannot feel it yet. Every time you wake and turn toward God instead of away, you are receiving grace like rain, peace like a river, love like a fire that never goes out. There are victories happening in your life that you cannot see. Small, quiet victories that heaven celebrates even when earth does not notice. The fact that you are still here, still breathing, still trying after everything you have been through, that is a victory. The fact that you have not given up on God even when He seemed silent, that is a victory. The fact that you are willing to sit in the discomfort of 3 in the morning and ask what it means, that is a victory. You are braver than you know, stronger than you feel, and more loved than you have ever dared to believe. The angels see it, the saints see it, and God, who sees everything, treasures every single moment of your faithfulness, no matter how small or stumbling it may seem to you. The 3 o'clock hour is not the end of something, it is the beginning. A threshold, a doorway into a deeper communion with the divine that will reshape everything about how you live and move and breathe. You are being trained in a kind of prayer that does not depend on feelings or circumstances, a kind of faith that shows up even when it is inconvenient, even when it does not make sense, even when there is no immediate reward. This is the prayer of the faithful remnant, the ones who keep the watch while others sleep, the ones who hold the world before God in the darkest hours. You are becoming one of them, not because you chose it, but because you said yes when heaven called. Are you ready to stop fighting this, to stop seeing it as an interruption, and start receiving it as an invitation? The next time you wake at 3 in the morning, remember everything you have learned here. Remember that you are not alone, that this is not random, that heaven is listening more closely in this hour than at any other time. Speak to God as you would speak to a friend who has come to sit with you in the darkness. Tell Him your fears, your hopes, your questions, and then, most importantly, be still, be quiet, and listen. Not with your ears, but with your heart. Let Him speak to the deepest parts of you, the parts that only wake when everything else is silent. This teaching is not complete. There is so much more Saint Seraphina revealed about the midnight hours, about the prayers that move heaven, about the hidden rhythms of grace that most believers never discover. But you must take the first step. You must begin where you are, with what you know in the hour you have been given. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait until you feel ready or worthy or prepared. The call has already come. You are already awake. Now is the time to respond. Tell me in the comments, what time do you usually wake in the night? What do you feel in those moments? Share your story. Your words might be exactly what another soul needs to hear to realize they are not alone. Subscribe to this channel so you do not miss the next teaching from Saint. She has so much more to reveal about the prayer life, about the signs God sends, about the ways heaven communicates with those who have ears to hear. This is not just information. This is transformation, and you deserve to walk in the fullness of what God has for you. Share this video with someone who wakes in the night. someone who feels alone, someone who needs to know that their sleeplessness might be a sacred calling. Do not wait. Do not hesitate. Heaven is moving right now, and you have been chosen to be part of it. Go now to your prayer. When 3 o'clock comes again, rise with courage. Speak with faith. Listen with hope. And know that every word you whisper in the darkness is heard, treasured, and answered in ways beyond your understanding. You are loved. You are called. You are exactly where you need to be.